everyone, today we are going to be talking about the Frixion Ball Zone. So the Frixion Ball Zone is a really nice addition / upgrade to the Frixion lineup of pens. What they've done with the ink is to tackle two of the most common complaints people had about the ink. And then they also did some really nice barrel profile redesign. So we will talk about each of those 3 points, and I'll show you all of the new options. We'll do some swatch comparing with the standard ink and the new Frixion Zone ink. And hopefully by the end of it, your questions will be answered. If not, as always, you can drop more questions below. All right, so the first thing you would probably notice about the new standard Frixion Ball Zone is that they gave it a real attractive upgrade to the body profile. It is more, I think it would fit in better with a professional setting, or maybe for more sophisticated working pen, if you like using the Frixion just a little bit more grown up looking. This one probably would still be very much loved with students. So this is the original standard Frixion Ball Knock with this new Frixion Ball Zone next to it. So you can kind of see the differences. Very attractive body. So the other 2 things, and this is maybe the most important things they addressed with the Frixion Ball Zone, is they completely have, redesigned the ink refill to hold 70% more ink than the original. So, people that would use their Frixion a lot, one of the common, pieces of feedback about it was how fast the ink gets used up. So this is the original. It's kind of hard to tell, but they've redesigned this to actually hold 70% more ink. They are using way less plastic on the refill too, so it's more of an eco refill. Not only because it will last longer, but because you have, metal instead of plastic being used on the main part. And then, maybe most importantly, a lot of people did not love the black Frixion ink being really more of a dark gray, or, essentially an off black. This was always just kind of the trade-off we lived with this disappearing ink, this Frixion ink. We just kind of accepted you don't have a really bold black ink. However, they have really improved the ink to be, their claim is 70% deeper, and you can definitely tell a difference with, the naked eye. I will do a swatch for you, of course, in just a moment here. And the new Frixion Ball Zone refills, they do come in 3 different colors, black, red, and blue, and 2 different tip sizes, 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter tip size. So I can never do 2 things at once. Sorry. So I'll kind of show you your barrel options for the standard, and then I'll show you your fancier barrel options, and then we'll swatch it, and I'm going to tell you about a couple hacks that I really like to do. Okay, so if you like 0.5, You have your black, they actually call it all-time black. Your neutral clear, very well done. You can actually see that silver refill inside there. It's a very attractive pen. And then they have this really pretty beige. They call it Break Time Beige. And this beautiful matte, kind of neutral pink that they call First Light Pink. Now, if you like these colors that are exclusive to the 0.5, you're really only limited insofar as the refill it comes in. You can absolutely refill with the 0.7 pen. Or 0.7 refill, of course. So in the 0.7, which of course, same thing, you could refill with the 0.5 if you wanted. You have, again, the black and the clear, but you also have this option of what they're calling a midnight navy. I really feel like more like this is a dark gray, maybe a deep dark blue gray, but I think it's worth pointing out to someone interested in this color. It doesn't scream navy to me, but they're calling it midnight navy. All right, so why don't we do a swatch so that you can see. I'm going to zoom way in so that you can see. I'm going to swatch the original black ink in 0.5. We'll be comparing the same tip sizes. So this is the original ink in 0.5. Still the standard Frixion ink. And then I am going to swatch the new Frixion Ball Zone ink right next to it. So you can see it is, you know, a deeper, darker black. And then just so you can see, both still, you know, erases the same it always did. But hopefully that helps you see just how much deeper the new black is. Okay, so moving on to the higher end Frixion Ball Zone Knock barrels. I might have just said those words out of order. The Frixion Ball Knock Zone barrels. So there's the Frixion Ball Knock Zone wood, and that comes in this gorgeous deep red. Yeah, deep red. So each pen is going to be unique in that it's real wood, so it's going to have different grain. It's going to have absorbed the stain, you know, in its own unique way. And here is the dark brown and the black. So for those of you who like the more wood look, and then they have the marble version. Now this is made of multicolored resin, and each one ends up being totally unique as well. So like if you have, you know, two greens, I think they actually call this inspiration green. Yeah, they're going to be, you know, totally different. Each one unique. Gorgeous inspiration blue version and inspiration red. Now let me how about that? Give some more. All right, so now that you've seen those really nice barrel options, I want to talk to you about a couple of my favorite hacks that I do with it because it has been really one of my favorite pens lately. So I have here a marble, the red marble version, but inside of it, I haven't been using the Frixion ink lately. I've been more into this, so Pilot Juice. So standard Pilot Juice looks like this. Very, very similar to the Pilot G2, for those of you who are more familiar with that. And the refill will be the same shape and size. So when I'm talking about Pilot Juice hacks, you could also be thinking G2. That's a little more common in the US. But this was a limited edition color I really liked, so I kept a couple, the Mint Smoothie. And I have been putting them in here because I love this barrel so much, but I just really wanted to be using that ink. And so they combine really nicely. So I'll show you here. You can just use a Pilot Juice refill inside here, as well as another super favorite of mine lately is the classic glossy juice up colors. This one is the classic glossy violet. It is such a deep, gorgeous color. And it also works just wonderfully in this barrel, which I will swatch for you here. So this would be the Juice Up Classic Glossy. So for those of you who like to know some other ink options, especially for your higher end barrels, you know, we tend to spend more money on them, and it's nice to know they're really quite, you know, flexible in how you use them. Now, of course, I do get this question. Can you now erase this ink? No, totally not. Sorry. So at that point, your Frixion eraser just becomes a decoration at the top until you were to refill it with Frixion ink. But because I just really like this barrel, the way it feels and writes, I don't care. So that's why I hack it like that. All right, so any questions you have about the new, well, new-ish Frixion Ball Zone bodies and new style of ink that you can get, you know, please drop your questions below. As always, if I haven't said already, the refills are available in black, blue, and red, and in 0.5 and 0.7 tip size. And of course, you can just like interchange them to your heart's desire. All right, well, I hope that answered at least most of your questions about the Pilot Frixion Ball Knock Zone, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.